Thank you all so much. Such a great looking room today. Glad to have you all here. Do me a favor. We're going to do what we call at church a SOS. Scoot over some. If I could get y'all to move in a little bit more. There's a lot of empty seats and there are people still coming in. So I don't want them crawling all over you. Scoot in toward the middle. There you go. Close those gaps. And then scoot over some. Scoot over some. And that way we can get people in and out. Thank you for being obedient and timely. I appreciate it. I am so happy to be here with you guys this morning. As Zayas so eloquently introduced me, I'm Vincent Powell. I'm a professor here. I teach in the radio, television, and film department on the graduate and undergraduate level. I am born and raised in Houston. I am a proud graduate of Texas Southern University. Yeah, that's it. Absolutely. I got my master's at USC and then came back to Houston top of the pandemic and came back to join the team. I tell my students very often that I teach a lot of my classes in this very lecture hall. Pull me back just a little bit, please, Jarman. I teach in this very lecture hall, and this is the same lecture hall that I was taught in. My office is my former advisor's office. So to be able to sit where you've sat and see what you've seen and know the world your way, it's a good thing and a bad thing. I tell most students it's a good thing because I can see the world from your perspective. Got me? I can see the world from your perspective, but also I have been a BSer. And you can't BS a BSer. So my students that are like, oh, the financial aid, I know how it works. I know how it works too. Stop trying to pull one over on me. Anyway, I'm so excited to be here today. Vanessa Anderson is here, and so is Ernest Dukes. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting Ernest, but Vanessa and I used to cross paths back in LA when I used to do some work for Issa Rae and all the SIPs and all that stuff that we used to have fun with. And so it's always great to see friends come down. And one of the most important things about Comm Week is bringing industry professionals who are doing the work day in, day out in to talk to you. All the stories of old are important. The people that have been doing this for 3 decades, that's all important. But what's absolutely important is us being able to hear from people that are in the field. Ernest is the founder and CEO of Nottingham Agency, a branding and communications firm founded on strategic storytelling, branded development, and cultural engagement, and his work centers on helping organizations and talent build authentic connections with audiences through clear, intentional messaging. With experience across marketing, branding, and public relations, he brings a perspective grounded in both creative storytelling and business strategy, bridging the gap between message and the measurable impact. Everybody, please welcome to the stage Mr. Ernest Dukes. Great to meet you, man. Glad to have you, man, for sure. And then Vanessa Anderson is the founder and president of AMPR Group, a strategic communications firm specializing in public relations, brand strategy, and talent positioning. She's built a reputation for shaping narratives at the intersection of culture, media, and influence, working with high-profile clients across entertainment, corporate, and lifestyle sectors. And her work focuses on crafting messages that not only reaches audiences but resonates culturally, helping brands and individuals establish lasting relevance in a fast-moving media landscape. Everybody put your hands together for Miss Vanessa Anderson. So good to have both of them today. Today's topic is shaping the culture through through communication. And so we're going to dive into that. We're going to open up. I want to talk a bit about power and responsibility in communication, and then we'll talk about strategy and execution, and then about storytelling in general, and then we're going to open the floor up for Q&A because I think it's important for y'all to ask questions that you have. Good morning.
Good morning.
So glad to have y'all here. We hear the word, the culture, we throw that around. Before we get started, I love just establish paradigms. Give us your greeting, but also let us know what you think about when you hear the word culture thrown around.
All right, you said give us your sorry, say it one more time.
No, I'm saying give us
so
your
early for me.
I get it. Give us your greeting. It is early. Give us your greeting, but then also let me know how you define the word culture.
Got you. So first of all, good morning to everyone in here. It's a pleasure to be here and to be speaking with all of you guys. to answer your question about culture, the first thing when I hear culture, to be honest with you, I feel exhausted. I feel like it's a word that is misused. Everything is culture, culture, culture. And so I feel like it's a word that's been so watered down and misused. And so it's like one of the words I try to stay away from when I hear the word culture, to be honest with you. I don't know. Vanessa, all right, let me say something too also before we get started.
Lord. Oh, Lord.
Polished, professional Vanessa. I'm not that way, so I'm trying to give y'all that aesthetic today. So bear with me. She'll probably give you guys the more the answers that you can apply to your real life. I just be talking and saying how it is in my POV. So I'm gonna pass it to you, and you tell us what culture means to you.
Okay, you exhaust me. You're exhausted.
Me?
Yes, he does this every time. Ernest is, oh my God, are we just gonna have like a love fest? Like, Ernest is the best, and what I love the most about Ernest, and I'll get into the cultural part in a second, is that I think also what I love about me and Ernest is on some level like the juxtaposition, right? So sure, one could say that I'm polished or whatever that looks like, and you might feel that you're not, but the truth of the matter is that both of us need to exist in this space, and no matter how you show up, not within reason, showing up as your true and authentic self is always the vibe, and that's always how you're gonna win. And it's the reason why you have a successful company, but I also have a successful company. And sometimes we can work together, or sometimes I'll get inquiries or he might get inquiries, and it may not be a fit for me, or I may not have the bandwidth, but I can always say, oh my God, but I know someone, personality might be a better match, or timing might be a better match. So never say that again. We deserve to both be here together. So there's that. Hi, everybody. I'm Vanessa. Nice to meet you all. Culture. I mean, ultimately, I feel like culture is just like another word for Black. We define it. We are it. We tell people what's cool, what's not cool. I think in every part of life, whether people want to admit it or not, they want a taste of us. They want a version of us. It's oftentimes watered down, but I think Black people are the originators of culture. I think that's why we've been able to survive. I think it's the reason why there's so much conflict also between us and other people, is because it's like, bro, like, you're just trying to do what we naturally do. But I do think in general, like, these are like, what would be the word, Vanessa? Like, they're like coin phrases, like,
Buzzwords.
oh, culture. Yeah, like buzzwords. Yeah. Like, just do the work, bro. Like, just do the work, be authentic, be yourself. And who you are is going to always resonate with people. So.
That's awesome. I do want to ask a question about campaigns. It could be one that you've managed or one that you've seen. But my question is there a recent campaign that you've seen that made you say they got that right or they nailed it? Either one you've managed or one you've seen recently, or
I'm gonna. What are you gonna say? Well, I know a lot of campaigns who have got it right, but I'm gonna talk my shit. So
please.
The most recent campaign that I feel like we got right is the campaign that I ran for 2 Chainz for his memoir, "The Voice on My Head Is God," and being able to take him to places that, one, he hasn't been in, like rooms that he hasn't been able to be in, and also for people to see him outside of just being this polarizing, turn-up kind of figure that he's made his career off of, right? And so with that campaign, like, some of the things that I was excited that we were able to do outside of getting the New York Times bestseller is taking him to outlets like the Today Show he's never been to, doing Michelle Obama's podcast, which we do next Wednesday, targeting like the Oprah's book club, like just different things that, like, what like really does it for me is when I can work with somebody who's already established and they're done a lot, and they'll look at you and it's like, damn, you did something for me that I didn't think I could do. Like, that happened with Jeezy as well when I got him on Good Morning America. Like, that's one of the pinned videos on my Instagram. To me, like, that is like a defining moment when someone's like, you allowed me to see myself bigger than I've been able to see myself, especially when you're a legacy artist who's been around for a long time. Babyface included, taking him from being, and not Babyface Ray. I realize a lot of times the Gen Z or the younger people, I say Babyface, they're like, Babyface Ray? No, Babyface the singer, the songwriter. So like with him as well, like
The reason many of them are here.
right. So right, and so with him as well, like that was also something like how do you take someone who's been around since before I was born, and when we ran his campaign, like being able to pair him with new R&B artists, female in particular of this generation, and running that campaign to the Grammys and Super Bowl and all that stuff, and having them with Jay-Z at Rock Nation Brunch, like those are all cool things that I would say I admire when it comes to campaigns, like staying authentic to the brand, but also elevating it and introducing it into new rooms that it hasn't necessarily been introduced in.
It's amazing. That's amazing.
So I was actually going to reference your 2 Chainz campaign because I thought you did a great job on that. So congrats on that one. I think for myself, I think maybe a campaign that I felt like we did pretty well. I signed Hailey Bieber in 2022 or 2023. And when I got her, she was fresh off of a brownie lip controversy and a bunch of other stuff. And obviously, you know, she's married to someone who is one of the biggest artists in the world, and there were a lot of perceptions and ideas, and people had sort of made up their mind on what kind of person she was. And I think the public perception of her was in very, very stark contrast to who she actually was as a person. But I knew that we had this skincare brand that she was building, and at the time, the brand and her were so interwoven that in order for the brand to be successful, I really needed to change people's ideas of who she was. At a very minimum, I just needed people to stop coming at her neck, and like I needed people to stop comparing her to other women, and one woman in particular. But when I got on, about a month later, we had what I will call like a social media shitstorm. And I went into my own sort of like crisis around it because I'd never been in a position like that where I was dealing with a client who was so massive, and everyone literally overnight was like, oh, I gotta wash my mouth. We not messing with her no more. Like, we don't like her.
You're fine. They're all adults.
Okay, great, amazing.
They're all adults.
Yeah, like, you know, it was like, yeah, like, we not fucking with her no more. And I was like, oh no, wait, what do you mean? Like, everyone loves the girls I work with. Like, what you mean we don't like her anymore? And that campaign, I think people also a lot of times think of campaigns as like, oh, we're gonna run this campaign for 2 months or 6 months. That was years long in the making. Like, getting her from where I found her to where she is now, and really changing people's perception of her and people really respecting her now as like a legitimate businesswoman. She's had one of the biggest sales, I think, ever in the skincare brand, that's led by talent. So I think that's a campaign I'm really proud of. And then I think, you know, to trying to not disassociate, but finding a way for her to stand on her own, even if she shares the last name of someone really famous. Really trying to carve out a way for people to respect her as her own woman, as a mother, you know, and as like a it girl and a fashionista and all the other things. So I would say that's probably one of my bigger.
When you talk about sharing the same last name, is there a model or an example that you're looking at or saying we can't do this? Is there another couple that has separate brands that you're like, oh, if we could kind of fashion it after this or not fashion after this couple, is that helping drive any of your decision making, or how are you figuring that out?
I think the only other Justin Bieber is one of the biggest artists in the world, on the globe. Period. So like, you just have to know that you're going into territory that is a bit uncharted. And then for me, my preference typically is to work with people of color, specifically Black people. So most of my clientele have been people of color. I definitely didn't have any other existing or clients that I had previously that I could sort of use as a reference. Maybe J&B, but they are at least generally in the same sort of like ecosystem.
Yeah.
So no, not really. I didn't feel like I had another couple to really model after. And that was pretty exciting because I was like, I can create the blueprint.
Absolutely. I'd love to know from you, Ernest, is there, as specific as you want to get or as general as you like to be, is there a brand or campaign that you like, they missed it, they totally effed this up, they dropped the ball, if I would have had it, we would have nailed it, but they missed it?
It's a semi-messy question, but
I know.
Yeah,
You can
I
talk
like messy
hypothetics.
people though.
There we go. Okay, cool.
I'm trying to think who's someone who's missed the ball. I mean, a lot of people have missed the ball. I honestly wouldn't know who they are because they missed the ball. They didn't reach my desk, to be honest with you. But I will say that I've created this folder. No, to be honest, like I missed the shit. You dropped the ball because I'm always like looking and searching and trying to learn. And to that point, I'll say I have this whole entire folder I created on Dropbox, which honestly, I think I want to share with you guys too. I don't know how I can share it. Maybe I can email it to you. But like, it's just full of different case studies. So like from like Cardi B's album to like Doechii, to whoever. Like I'm a student always, and so like anytime I see like a case study come out, I'm like, let me download this and put it into my folder to see like what worked for them, what didn't work, what I can apply, or what might spark an idea for me. And also, I'll tell you guys too, if for some reason the folder doesn't get distributed, there's a website or a company called Venice Music, and you go to venicemusic.com. It's VENICE. And so if you sign up for their mailing list, they're always sending out the case studies. They're very focused on communications and branding and like how your brand should look, and they will break down from a campaign's perspective, not just the ROI, but like what colors did they use, like what was the story they were telling, like what universe did they create for each person, and so forth. And so I don't know if that answered your question.
No, yeah,
I am
sure.
a messy on the low, so
Yeah.
after this we can talk. But
No, you good.
I ain't got nothing to say with the cameras rolling up.
There you go. Real quick, can I get a show of hands? Who's all in communication study or media studies, my course? Who's taking my course or is in my course currently? RTF 130. Show of hands, real high. Okay, awesome. Who's a communication studies major or comm major? Who are my communication majors? Amazing. Just want to kind of feel them around. Do I have any RTF majors, radio, TV, film majors? Amazing. Any of my ERIM, entertainment, recording? There we go. Fantastic. Just wanted them to kind of get a lay of the land to understand. And then who's all undergrad? Show of hands. Oh, broadcast. I'm sorry. Journalism. Hands down. Hands down. Journalism. Journalism. Awesome. Anybody in the journalism group leaning toward PR? There we go. Fantastic. Okay. Any grad students in the room? There we go. The one. Say two. All right. And then everybody else undergrad? Yes. Fantastic. Just want to give them a lay of the land. Okay, how do you approach a project or a client or what have you? A client approaches you and they're soliciting you for your services because they realize they've seen somebody else or somebody's recommended you and they're about to either release something or go through a shift. How do you ideate through those things? Is it with them? Is it you going into a private space first and then coming back to them with a pitch? How does your process work?
is this for me?
Sure.
Oh, okay. I was gonna really quickly the last
Yeah,
question,
please.
and we don't need to go into details because if you guys are all comms related, I feel like you should have been watching this story. Elf, they released Edge Control, and they sent it to absolutely zero Black influencers or Black content creators, and Rode is owned by Elf now, but the entities really function completely separate teams, everything. And I was so surprised because I just couldn't believe that in 2026, a brand that, some of their largest consumers are Black women or people of color, and the fact that they just completely, first of all, you literally made a product that already exists on the market. You did not revolutionize anything. And it's not even good. It's cool. You didn't come out with it. Nonetheless, it blew my mind. But then you start referencing when I'm in certain marketing meetings, sometimes I am the only person of color on the Zoom, or when a lot of people who do research and development or product development, they don't look like us. So it surprises me on some level because I'm like, how do you have millions of followers on TikTok or Instagram or whatever these apps are and not go, oh, Black women should be included in this? So I think that probably is a more recent campaign where I feel like they really dropped the ball. In terms of process, it really depends on what the client needs, who the client is, and if I'm being really frank, I don't know if this is applicable for you, but how much you willing to pay.
I think so.
Because there are certain meetings where you will just never talk to me. And there are some meetings where you'll only talk to me. What I don't do is I don't give people strategy ahead of time. We always do an introduction meeting, tell us what you're looking for. Ideally, if it's a person versus a brand, I want to talk to the manager, I want to talk to the lawyer, the agents, as many people who sort of are around the talent. I do my due diligence. I want to talk to them first and just kind of get a sense of like, do they even have enough work for me to work with? Because a lot of the times talent specifically will like think that they need a publicist and it's too early in the journey or it's too early in the process. Like, if you're number 7, number 8 on the call sheet, babe, like, save your coins, and just wait. Like, have this moment, allow the network or the studio publicist to do what they do best, make sure that your agent or your manager is advocating for you, but you don't need a publicist right now. There isn't enough for us to work with. So I'm very honest with people, too, because I'm not interested in taking people's money just for the sake of it. So that would probably be my first step. And then we do, Zooms or in person. I prefer to meet people in person. One, I want you to see that I cared enough to show up. And, presentation is very important to me. And I feel like whether you're the talent or the person to be hired, like how you show up, how you present is important. And also, like, to get a feel. Like, for me, a lot of the times, me working with a client or not working with a client, it's not just them deciding, oh, we want to work with Vanessa and her team. It's me deciding, I want to work with you and your team. You're only as strong as your team, so if your team is not solid, if your team is disorganized, if you're disorganized, if you're disheveled, I'm not the pick. Like, I have too much going on. I'm really about results. I'm a very solutions and results-driven person, but we have to do this together. If we can get past that part, then you say, hey, like a goal of mine is I really want to be on GMA or I want to get on the cover of Vogue or whatever, whatever it is. I'm also very honest and I'll say, hey, babe, I love this goal for you. We're not going to be able to achieve that this time around. I will tell someone you're not going to get the cover of anything this first go round. It's just not happening. And not because you don't deserve it or because you're not talented enough, but that's just not where media is right now. And we have a lot of work that we need to do, and this is what that work looks like. But I don't actually give strategy until you've signed the contract and the money is in my account.
And that's an important note because I know a lot of times the students will respond like pitch deck first, right? And then if you like the idea, because that's where the world is, like the Instagram influencer or whoever is courting you to develop their website or do their music video or their IG campaign, and because the client doesn't know how to be a client and they don't know how to be the vendor, right? So a lot of times it's like, oh, they didn't like any of my ideas, so they passed on me. But I was like, how'd you ever get to the point where you're exchanging ideas without some kind of agreement that,
right?
Because that's work in and of itself.
Can I say something real quick?
Go.
Because I love the introduction that you did for both of us. And I noticed, like, you didn't mention, like, anybody that we worked with or anything that we've done. I think that was probably intentional. Can you do me a favor? Can you just say some of the people you represent or have worked with? No, please. No. Are you want me to do it for you?
No.
Please,
From
Run it down.
Issa Rae to DJ. I have a point to make. I'm making a point,
No.
please.
No.
Please, Issa Rae, DJ Mustard, Haley Bieber. I'm trying to think of all the other people. It's like up.
Hi.
And that's great. I want to say to you guys, though, I struggle with what she just said a little bit because I'm a little bit of the opposite. Even to your point about you saying don't send a text. She can do that because of the people that she works with. You've gotten to the point where motherfuckers know they're not about to sit with you if they ain't got the money. That money got to be in your account. We're not all on that level, and so I don't want to do a disservice and tell y'all that that's how y'all should be, because if y'all ain't got that, then it's like y'all doing yourself a disservice, because there's someone out there hustling right now who is going to create the deck and is going to send it and put the idea forth, and that's going to be the person who got it. Sure. And so, like you said, money is important to you. Money's important to me. I've made a lot of fucking money. You can read about it on Inc., okay? But I only made that money because like I wasn't afraid to do things that did not pay me. And I've never said this publicly before, so like one of my clients is Remy Ma. I've never charged that lady a day in my life for no PR services, ever. But I related to her because she went to prison. My mom was in prison when I was born. I'm like, I like her story and so forth. And to your point, like, yeah, if you're not number one on the call sheet, it's gonna be tough for you. But because I built my company on working with number 7s and number 8 on the call sheets, it's made me have to think differently. Like, how can I strategically think about how to make you equally as important, or if not equally as important as number one, but find a niche for you that works for you. And so with Remy, personally, obviously, like, we live in a Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion world. So it's like, how do we get people to care about you? And like I said, it wasn't getting paid. So my thing one was like, coming up with a strategy that worked that can make her fit within the current landscape, and then also, how can I get paid? And so with that, and these are things that have not come out, we haven't even talked about, but I got her a biopic at Lifetime that I'm executive producing that's coming out next year. I got her a memoir with Simon & Schuster that I co-authored with her that also comes out next year. I got her another film, actually a few different films that she's acted on. She did Queens on Fox, and doing her album, we got her a deal for her album. It's just like, for me, we're having two different conversations. Like, Vanessa's speaking from like a PR perspective, which I agree to. Me, I'm more so like PR and also whatever else it takes to make some shit happen. And so I do believe that you guys should, one, find people that you align with. Like, if you believe in somebody, do the deck. That's how I get a lot of things. Like, I'll do a deck, I'll give you a strategy, but I only do it for people I believe in. I don't take on people I don't believe in. So when I'm super excited and passionate about something, I want that to be reflected on like how I present it to you. And I feel like, yeah, there are gonna be people who say no, but all it takes is that one yes. So don't get discouraged because you made a deck and somebody said no. Eventually you're gonna run into the person who's like, I like this deck, I like these ideas. Not only do I like the ideas, but who made the deck? Because I need somebody to make a deck for me too. You know, and so all I said to say, be encouraged and be consistent. That's all.
That's great.
Really quickly, so this is the thing about Ernest that I love is Ernest is willing to put on the other hats. Because, like, low-key, what you described is manager. Like, you said in that biopics, you doing...
But more, I feel like partnerships.
No, it's
Because
okay.
I don't want you calling me in the middle of the night.
But they do.
I don't answer.
They still do. They call all of us in the middle of the night, right? And I think that if you have an interest in playing more of a overall role in the client's life, that's great and that's perfect. I personally do not have the bandwidth or the interest in doing that, right? Now, granted, with Issa, me and Issa have been together since 2011.
Sure.
Her and I are very close friends as well. So, like, any venture that she does, we always talk about, okay, well, how do we bring Vanessa in, not just to do the comms, but also to get a piece of it. Like, that, for me, is more of an anomaly. That's more of an exception than the norm. And I don't want to, you're right, I don't want to make it sound like, especially you guys will be fresh in the field. I've been doing this almost 20 years, sure. Right? I've been doing this almost 20 years. Yeah, she's an older lady. She's an older lady, okay? Like, I've been doing this almost 20 years, so I can get to the place, I'm in the place in my career where I can be a lot more, you know, selective. And I used to do the decks, and I used to put the strategies together and all of that. And when I stopped was when was COVID, 2020? Mm-hmm. 2020, into 2020, early 2021, yeah. I put together what I thought low-key was some of my best work. I was like, there's no way. Absolutely. There's literally no way in the world that this person is not gonna sign with me because I have given you everything. It was a global campaign. It was for an Olympian track star. She's from LA. She was that girl, like a little bit older, but like, when I tell you, even now, I go back and reference that strategy. It was so good. It was some of my best work. We met multiple times, 3 or 4 times, met with the brother, met with the husband, met with everybody. Yeah. And then didn't pick me, and that happens. Sometimes you don't get picked. The client didn't pick you? The client didn't pick me, and that happens. Sure. And you just have to kind of take it on the chin, and you just keep going. But what I didn't appreciate was that she went and picked...
Somebody you trained?
She went and picked a white woman.
Oh.
That happens often.
That happens all the time.
Sure. Sure.
But then, over the next 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 4 months, I start clocking stuff. I said, baby, this is my strategy.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
This is my work. These are my ideas. This was the cover that I had pitched. This was the story I wanted to tell. Like, it was literally, this was my event that we had planned. Like, it was, when I tell you it was verbatim, it was so disrespectful. I called her, her brother, and the other publicist. And I, excuse my language, really maybe let's not record this part. I literally said to the other publicist who I knew, who tried to buy my company at one point,
Of course.
I said, you are literally a raggedy bitch. Like, you took my work,
Oh, that's not bad.
but like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
took my work,
Keep rolling.
and you didn't even try.
Yeah.
You didn't even try
To
to
augment.
finesse it.
Yeah.
You didn't even try to mask the fact that these were my ideas.
Yeah.
You literally gave your team, you said, oh, this is perfect. Do this. You know, and my Scorpio is strong, and I got it's fine. But like, that was for me when I was like, oh no, I'm done. I'm done giving people free access to my ideas. At best, if you want me to put some sort of deck or strategy together, you have to pay a cost.
Yeah.
Even if it's a band. Like, because at least I can be like, well, you know, I got
It was a
$1,000 for it. Like, I'm not, well, and I'm okay. I lose a lot of clients or a lot of opportunities because I'm not willing to do an RFP. I'm not willing to send a strategy over ahead of time. And I'm like, that's okay, because I never want me and my team to put that much energy and time and care into something to then see someone else,
Copy-paste.
low-key, especially a white woman,
Yeah.
come and execute.
But I feel like that only can go but so far though too. Like I can give all you guys a strategy and say this is what y'all should do. But how many of y'all can execute it the same way I can, or even you would execute it differently than I could? So I feel like if you just are a lover and a student of the game, I'm like, here, take the shit, because I know from whom my ideas flow, and my shit is like a faucet. Like, I can just flow all day. I got 100 more where that came from, and you didn't ran off with that and forgot all this other shit I was about to give you, but you were so thirsty for it, so go ahead on. And where's that track star now? Because you gave all those clues, and I know who the fuck you was talking about.
Same. Oh, I know. I clocked it.
Well, where is she now?
USC. Oh, no, I mean,
Exactly my point. Anyway.
no, no.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Exactly my point.
I think Ernest's version of like, it doesn't matter, give it out.
Sure.
It's valid, and if that's the kind of spirit that you have, by all means. And then I think
told
that
you
there
we're yin and yang.
I think that there are other people who function in the world probably a little bit more like me, which is like, I'm very precious in every department of my life. Like, having access to me is no.
All right, I know this is not a
Yeah,
discussion,
yeah.
but I have one
Go ahead.
question. Prior to that,
Yeah.
that strategy that you making the decks and all stuff, that was working for you, right?
Sometimes,
'Cause
but
I-
not
I feel-
always.
I feel like you let that one thing
No,
discourage you from something that was working.
No. Let me be clear. I've never wanted to give my ideas and my strategy out. But I also recognized when I started, I didn't have the luxury of doing that. So I always start a conversation with, hey, let's meet, let's talk. If we can align, if we think that this makes sense, then we can go to the next steps. I've never wanted to give my ideas ahead of time. However, I think previously, if I felt like the opportunity was worth it, like if I was willing to sort of make the sacrifice, I would have done it. But then there's other clients. When I signed Cardi, we had a 4-hour Zoom, and that was good enough for her. I didn't need to do a whole strategy for her. I didn't need to. So it really depends.
Yeah.
For Haley, we met for 3 times, an hour each on Zoom, and she was like, cool. So sometimes you don't need to do all that. Sometimes like just showing up and having a good conversation and people getting a sense of who you are and your spirit is enough.
Yeah.
But then like for brands, a lot of the times you do have to make that sort of like concession of like, okay, well, these are some of my ideas. This is what I'm thinking. It's definitely like, you know, kind of case by case it. But for me at this point, again, I'm almost 20 years in, like, you can see my work. I'm happy to send you a company deck.
Yeah.
And you can see all the covers we've done. You can see all the campaigns that we've ran. I've had clients on every single program, low key in the world. I've done every cover of every magazine. If that's not good enough for you, I'm just not your girl.
Absolutely. I don't want to co-opt your
No, please.
situation.
Sorry.
However,
Yes, because him and I were
I know we got
Yeah.
started a little
Podcast
late.
is crazy.
I know
No,
we
you're
got started a
good.
little late. I don't want us to run out of time and no one get a chance to do their Q&A.
You're good.
What's your,
I
yes,
think
go,
they can ask.
go.
No. I want to say two things. One, I appreciate the yin and yang of it. And I think that you all have to, as students, understand consuming information in conferences and in lectures. A lot of times you'll end up in spaces where everyone agrees on the same thing and you leave out with one perspective. And so it's really important to find people or find panels where everybody's not going to say the same thing, because you can start aligning or find a Venn diagram and say, oh, I'll take this and that. I always say, take the fish, leave the bones, right? So I appreciate the back and forth. I do want to not rush over a speed bump. Can we define roles really quick? Like, what is the difference in how you're defining what you do in your world as a rep? And then, because you were saying he was operating as a manager with the Remy Ma situation. What is a manager? What is an agent? What is a PR representative? Can one of us break just?
I mean, I think like
definitions?
manager, agent, PR, those are all like, I think universal terms that people kind of understand. What I would say to your point, like, yeah, people do say sometimes I act like the manager, or sometimes I act like the artist.
I don't want to assume.
Right. Okay. So I'll bring it
we're in
home.
Houston.
I'll
Yeah,
bring it
right.
home.
All right.
So like a manager. All right. Let me break it down. So a manager is someone who does not get paid up front. They get paid off of commission. Their job is to go out and find you work, and also to kind of just manage every element in your career. So they're across all the different things. So if you're a person who's multi-hyphenate, they're talking to your agents. They're talking to your attorney. They're talking to your publicist. They're coming up with a strategy. An agent is someone who primarily goes out and they'll get you paid opportunities. They also don't get paid up front. They get paid based off a commission. Most agencies take 20%. Some might take 15. I heard someone wanted to take 30. I'm like, God damn, you ain't even on camera. And then a publicist, like our job, we don't get paid commission. We get paid a retainer. So at the first of the month or whatever your structure is, they'll pay you a fee to go out and get them pressed. So they'll handle like your radio interviews, your magazine interviews, getting you on red carpet, really managing your public image as a whole. For me, like I said, I've been called manager, all that stuff before. I feel like I'm more like a partner. Like I like to find people, we align on a vision, and we partner with each other on it, which is how, like with Jeezy, like when we produced the Hip Hop in the White House documentary for Hulu, it's executive produced by him and I. With Tammy Roman, like her show on VH1 that we did, Tammy Ever After, is executive produced by her and I, because I find people whose visions that I align with, and I say, let's partner. I'll make my money on the back end because I always will bank on myself if it's a partnership. I do get paid in other ways too, but I'm like, money's not the thing for me. Like, if I like it, I like it. If I don't, there's no money that's gonna make me like it. You know what I mean?
I didn't realize we worked together before. I DP'd the Bun B footage for the.
Oh, yeah.
Hip hop doc.
Yeah.
When we did the Houston shoot with Jordan Benston and all that.
Yeah, Jordan.
I know we're at a 12 o'clock point. Is anybody out of class? Does anybody need to leave? I don't want to have them talking while people are moving around. Everybody good? Awesome. Oh wait, go ahead. Yeah. Pop out if you need to pop out. I don't like when y'all are moving while the guests are talking.
We didn't care, but we get it. Life is life.
I get it.
Oh, I do. Can I say a big shout out real quick?
Please.
To alumni of TSU, Joseph Williams.
Hey, there he is.
Who also does the publicity for Stars. So like Ghost, Kane and all that shit, BMF. That's the man.
There you go.
He came from here. He's in LA doing his shit.
No. Yeah, Joe, Lachelle Sargent's out there. Wait, I gave y'all permission to walk. Don't talk.
Oh, it's over with, baby. It's a wrap. You told them they can go.
Yeah, you tell them to leave.
I was about to go too.
They go.
They have to get to class. They're going to all start trickling. It was going to get awkward.
Yeah.
It was going to become a
a
5 minute situation. It gets very awkward.
It's all good. I would love to get to questions from
Sure. I was about to say,
the remaining crew.
Let me open up the floor, and I don't know if we have a mic that we're passing around or how we're doing that, but let's start here, and then we'll pop around.
You could use my mic.
Oh yeah, we can share. Or just speak loudly.
Yeah,
Her and I can share a mic.
Yeah, we can also share.
please. Just so the stream and stuff can work. Yeah, thank you so much.
No iPad. Got questions ready.
She's amazing.
All right, hello guys. One, I love all the nuances in this conversation. This has been entertaining, but also educational at the same time, which I love. My name is Courtney Roberts. I'm a senior comms major here at TSU, And over the past 3 years, I've been working part-time within experiential marketing and strategic partnerships under the company 1824. It's basically UMG's in-house creative agency of college reps across the country. And my question for you both is, what is the key to efficient client servicing when you are working across multiple accounts with varying deliverables and deadlines? With that said, how do you approach prioritization and to avoid burnout, especially in a fast-paced industry? It's kind of like a multi-layered question.
What's the real question though? Like, don't give me the chat GPT version. I got you.
Well, this is my version. This is my version.
Oh, well, tell me, like, break it down, like, one by one. Like.
Basically, like when you're like approaching client servicing, how do you balance multiple accounts and deliverables for like various clients? Because I feel like there's moments where like the one client needs this, there's another client that needs this. Like, how do y'all balance that without, reaching a burnout state? Because I've like met many people where they don't know how to balance that prioritization.
For me personally, I have ADHD, so it's perfect. I jump from one thing to the next, But I know everyone is not ADHD, so I would say from where we sit, a lot of it, I think, is delegating, knowing like what takes up the most of your time and figuring out a way to delegate that so that you can stay within like your flow state and be flowing and being creative. And then if you're not in a position to where you can delegate, I think time management tools are important. I was talking to someone the other day. Who was I talking to the other day? I asked this question. Oh, it was Shayla from Will Packer. I'm like, what is Beyonce's schedule? Like, I need to ask Yvette. Like, I feel like she got more hours in the day than we do. Because I'm like, how does she get all this shit done? I can't get everything done. And so we had a conversation about time management. And so I think that is really what I would say is learning to map out your time. Even though you have these different clients, treat it like a job. So like between 10 a.m. to noon, I'm working 2 chains. At 2 noon, I'm gonna take a break, smoke this little vape real quick. And at 12:30, I'm gonna do, this person, that person, and really be structured with what you're doing. Like, don't just go based off emotion and like bouncing back and forth. Like, and there's a lot of tools. I'm getting into AI. I know that this ain't the AI course, but like you can use like Notion, or there's a one called, I believe it's Monday. But like there's different things, and then make ChatGPT if that's what you're on. I love Claude personally. I'll be talking to it. I'm like, yo, I'm overwhelmed. I got this, this, and this, and this. And it'll be like, yo, chill, my nigga, I got you. Like, and they'll come up with a whole schedule. And so I think just time management and delegating.
I think, ooh, this is loud. Okay, he gave me his, sorry.
I'm like, where this come?
I think for me, you have to be really honest with yourself at the onset. So don't put too much on your plate, right? You can prevent a lot of burnout. You can prevent being overwhelmed. You can prevent feeling stressed. And quite honestly, you can prevent not being able to perform if you're just really honest with yourself from the jump about what's my capacity right now? What do I have the bandwidth to do right now? Do I have family functions coming up that are really important to me that I want to be present for? So I think just being really honest with yourself is the first step. I used to be someone who I was like, yeah, I'm gonna sign everybody and I'm gonna do all the work and I'm gonna make all the money, and then was raggedy. And then, people would call me, or I wasn't hitting my own personal goals, or I wasn't able to service the client at the level that they were signing up for and paying for. And that actually for me is worse, right? Because we live and breathe by the reputations that we have. And the worst thing that someone could say about me is that I didn't do the work. The rest, I don't care about nothing else. She's mean, she's this, she's difficult. I don't care about any of that. But what people could never say, and what I would never want someone to say, is like, she didn't deliver, she didn't perform. So you have to be really honest with yourself from jump about like, maybe 5 clients is too much for me. Maybe I need 2 clients or 3 clients and I really, really kill it. And then once I'm done, then I can bring another person on. So I would just say being honest with yourself is probably the first step.
And specifically to the program you mentioned, because I'm familiar with it when I worked at Capitol Records, I would say have boundaries too, because people are going to use you until they cannot use you no more, unless you speak up and say, listen, this I can't. One thing to communicate with yourself, but also communicate to others, like, this is a lot, I'm still in school, this check ain't checking like that. Call somebody else. I can only do but so much, Don't try to be a superwoman. So creating those boundaries for yourself, I think, is important as well.
Any more questions? Oh.
Pass the mic, pass the mic.
Pass the mic. Which way? You go ahead. Fellow best, senior, RTF major. You know, earlier, this question is for you, Vanessa. It would have been for both of you, but Marcus, one of the last things you said, you drew a very clear line about what you will and
Is
won't
Marcus
do for
in
money.
the room with us?
I'm
I don't
sorry,
know
is it
who
not
that
Marcus?
is.
I've got ADHD too, and
Oh, okay,
autism.
little
I'm like all
dyslexia
over
too.
the
I know
place.
that's right.
So let me just zero in right here. Earlier, this is gonna prove it to you. Way back earlier when you were talking about Haley, you know, you were like, I need people to get it off of her throat, get at her neck, you know. What I wanted to know, I wanted to talk about like your ethical obligation to the client. You had a financial obligation to your bank account, like, look, if she don't look good, I don't look good. But what if it's somebody that you just don't like? Like, do you still go that hard for them? Maybe they've got everything else. They got everything else you require. They've got the money, but it's just something about their personality that just don't really click with you. Do you not take the client, or, you know, like, how do you walk that?
Oh yeah, no. I've fired clients who were paying me crazy money, changed my life. I've been in situations where, you know, my life has been threatened, or I've been in unsafe situations. I'm out. Like, this job does not define me. I love this job, and I could probably do this forever. But money finds its way to me. Like, I'm never chasing a check. I know what I'm worth, right? But that's, if someone does something that is not in alignment who I am and as a woman that my grandmother raised me to be, I'm okay. I'm okay to walk away. I don't have a boss. So I don't have someone else that I have to explain why this decision does or doesn't work for me. The only people who I do feel obligated to communicate changes like that to is the team. Because when I say, hey, no, we're not going to work with this person, or I know that this is a great opportunity for us financially, and or it could put us in rooms that we've never been in before, you know, that does have a trickle-down effect on the team. Like, hey, you know, I know that you were supposed to be getting a promotion soon, or you're supposed to be getting a raise soon. We don't have this $20,000 account anymore. I'm making this up. So that might have to be put on hold. I'm very communicative about that kind of stuff. But if I can't sleep at night, or if I'm on the phone, because at the level that we do the job, people have access to me all day, all night. I drop whatever I am doing, whomever I'm with, family included, to be at the service of these people. That does come with a hefty price tag. But I also have to like you. Like, if I'm on the phone advocating for you, if me and Harvey Levin from TMZ are cussing each other out all day, I gotta really fuck with you on something. And I gotta feel like, no, this person needs my protection, not just because she's paying me for it, but because she is a good person. She treats people with respect. This narrative that people have of her is incorrect. But ultimately, there is never enough money to ever make me question myself. And when I first started out, I had this thing where I would say, before I signed every person, I say, is this someone that my grandmother would be proud to tell her friends that her granddaughter was working with? And if my answer wasn't a quick yes, I didn't do it. So yeah, you can't ever compromise your values or your ethics. It's not worth it. That little money, if you do it right, you're gonna live a long time. That little 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, you'll find that. Gotta bring that back.
What's your name? Yeah, you got the mic.
How y'all doing?
Hey.
My name Trinity. I'm a RTF major. My question was for you, actually. Starting out as a
Me?
yeah, Vanessa. My question was for like a black woman starting out, and because we are so young, like, what is some advice you can tell us, like, being in such a competitive field?
I would say really be honest with yourself if you want to do this job. I think that, you know, TikTok and Instagram and social media has put this sort of like false idea of what it means to work in comms and what it means to work specifically with talent. I actually do not believe that most people have it in them to work with talent. I think people think this is like the glamorous, it's fun, it's exciting. Don't get me wrong, I've gone to parts of the world I never thought I would go. I've been able to like do many things because I work with talent. But I've also missed a lot of my family's life, my friends. You know, this job, if you do it at a high level, if you want to do it at a high level, it's nonstop. It's constant. It's high stress. So you really need to be honest with yourself. Like, do you want to have a more quote unquote traditional life? Go work at the studio, go work at the network, you know, maybe work in sports. Like there's so many, go work in tech. Like there's so many other spaces within communications that you can work in and be successful. I would also say talent, especially for women of color, we get paid the least. We get paid the least. I have to fight. I'd be like, girl, I know how much you just paid that other lady. And you didn't like that work. That's why you over here talking to me. So not only, you're not just matching that, baby, you got to pay me more. Like, but why do I have to have those conversations oftentimes with people who look like us, right? So you have to be willing to fight. The other thing that I would share with everybody, this life of an entrepreneur is hard. It's very, very hard. Most of you do not have it in you.
Damn.
Most of you do not have it in you to be responsible for yourself is one thing, right? But if you want to get into this idea of building a company and be responsible for other people and their families and their kids and their lives, that's an incredible responsibility that I can't take lightly, right? Most people are not built for that. You're not built for taxes. You're not built for random lawsuits. You're not built for the lawyer bill. You're not built for unemployment. You're not built for it. Most of you are just not built for it. Let me tell you who also wasn't built for it. Low-key me. I had the hardest part that I've had in my journey has not been being a publicist. I'm great as a publicist. I got ideas forever. The hardest part has been being a businesswoman, running the business. It's incredibly hard. It's super, super hard. So if you have, if for whatever reason you have that on your spirit, my suggestion would be go work for someone who has a small business. That way you can get a firsthand account of what it's really like to really truly be in the trenches, having to make those hard decisions, having to say, okay, well, am I going to run payroll, or am I going to pay rent, or am I going to pay this tax bill, or like, and hopefully you can find someone who's very honest and transparent about what it looks like, right? But I think when you add in the extra layer of being a woman, and then my most exciting part of myself is being Black, right? That's the part that I feel like is the most fire, but it also puts me in a lot of situations, it puts me behind, right? So you have to really be clear and intentional with yourself. Like I'm very big about like checking in with yourself. Like have a real nigga conversation with yourself. Are you happy? Is this serving you? There's nothing wrong with having a boss and talk and like getting a check. That consistency of I know every 2 weeks I'm gonna get this in my account. Having that kind of freedom to then be able to plan your life around that is beautiful. I have not had that type of freedom since I was 24 years old. I am 40 years old, right? So like having this idea of like, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur, I want to work for myself. It's hard. We're in the sales business ultimately. I have to constantly be signing, right? Because clients come on, they be on for 3 months, for 6 months, then they go off. We get lucky when we get a client like a Issa who is on all year round. She has so much business, there's always something for me to do. That's not the case typically. Most clients are only on for 3 or 6 months, which means you have to constantly be signing. In addition to also doing the daily tasks and the work that you need to do to service the clients you have. It's incredibly hard.
Can I say something?
Yes.
You said you in the RTF, right? So that's radio, television, and film. So you want to be like in broadcast in that world, I'm assuming?
I kind of just want to do everything.
Oh, well, that's the first thing I would say. Figure out what everything is. 'Cause you can do everything, but I don't think you can really do everything all at once. I feel like you should master one thing and then move on to the next thing. But when you try to spread yourself too thin, you be spreading yourself too thin. I know the question was about black women. Clearly, I'm not a black woman, but I surround myself with a lot of black women, and I would say my advice to you would be to do the same, like to find a mentor that's in the place that you see yourself wanting to be, and reaching out to them and seeing if they can offer guidance. And a lot of times, like, we are busy, so I would say be compelling and be yourself, show up and be transparent and authentic in who you are, and really don't do like a mass email where you can copy and pasted everything and just change the name. Like, really tell somebody like why it is that you see them being a fit as a mentor, and I promise that they will connect to that. Like, I secured a mentor in like probably one of the most impossible people you would think, like, which is Yvette Noel Shore, which is how you and I we knew each other, but that's how we got really close. And Yvette is Beyonce's publicist, and she, represented Prince and Adele and Jessica Simpson. And she didn't know me from nowhere, but I showed up and I was very authentic and transparent in what she meant to me as a publicist, because that's what I wanted to do at the time. And she took me under her wing, and from that, like, that's how her and I, like, we created My Publicist is Black movement, and I took that shit to the moon. I was on CNN talking about it. And so it really started with being authentic and being intentional about who it is you want. So my challenge to you would be create a list of like 5 people. First, research the people in the field you want to be in. Whether it's like production companies, there's so many black-owned production companies, from like an Ava DuVernay to Issa Rae to Regina King, Viola Davis. Everyone has them. And don't just stop at celebrity as well, because there also are black-owned companies that aren't necessarily celebrity-driven. Like Mara Brock Kills, not necessarily a celebrity in the traditional sense. Neither, well, Lena Waithe's semi-hybrid celebrity, but also got her background in producing. Find someone, create your list of people that you really want to target, and then be intentional about the outreach, and then also be prepared to follow up. Like, I feel like the art of the follow-up is a lost art. Like, people feel like if I sent it one time, they ain't say nothing, it's not gonna happen. We're busy, and they willing to talk about no bread. I definitely skipped maybe the first or second one you did, but be intentional. And then not only should you email, engage with them. Like, I'm on Threads. It's one of my favorite platforms right now, because everyone just feels like a cousin. Like, we could just talk on there. It don't matter if you got a lot of followers or not. Engage with people's content that you want to connect with, and really make yourself known. Like, show up and be, again, consistent, and get those mentorships. And then the last thing I would say is networking across. Like, don't always think about like, well, who's on the stage to network with? Like, you heard her say the money ain't right, she ain't fucking with it. What about the people sitting next to you, right? And so I feel like going to different conferences, like, what is it, the NABJ, which is like they do that, I believe, in New Orleans, and that's for communications. Like, there's so many people in those rooms. Revolt World, like those different conferences, even CultureCon, InvestFest, like, go and invest in yourself and put yourself in the rooms with people who are making decisions, and people who are, they operate in the spirit of collaboration and wanting to help. That's important. Everyone don't want to help. But when you're in those rooms, like, when you come out, you've taken time out of your day, like, you want to help. You're already halfway there. You're in the room with someone who's amenable to that. And then when you show up there, make sure that you're prepared. Like, one thing I would say to you, too, and this is no shade to you, I'm glad I gave you the microphone. I couldn't hear nothing you said at first. Elevate, use your voice. Like, your voice matters. Like, you in the room for a reason. Like, I know one of the questions they were asking was like representation. Like, representation matters in the sense that you in the room, so clearly you need to be there. Always make sure that we know you in the room. Like, don't just be in the room spectating. Like, let us know. So use your voice and be confident. So that's what I would say to you. So can I ask you one more time? Say your name one more time for me.
Trinity Payton.
No, I did that on purpose. I want to hear you. Say it. Project it, girl. Who are you?
Trinity Payton.
Who?
Trinity Payton.
That's what I'm talking about. Period. Yeah.
I just had a quick question, because I think what is great is that y'all are at a certain level of your careers, and I actually love all your work. But I would love to know for the students, like, what's a brief moment in your life where you had a misstep or a key learning that helps you redirect yourself professionally?
Mine is, I don't want to take up too much time. It kind of echoes like we said earlier. Boundaries for me was the first one. Like, not having boundaries, we do answer the call at the middle of the night for people, but I was doing that for everybody. I remember I was doing that I had every girl in basketball wives at one point. Like, Jackie Christie on one, then is this one on. I'm like, I got to go to sleep. Like, having boundaries is one of the mistakes that I think I made early on. But I had no boundaries for myself at that time. At that time, I was fucking 350 pounds. You know, I was overweight. I was like depressed. I was just all about hustle culture. Like, I'm asleep when I die. Nigga, now I need a nap. I'm not doing all that. You know, and so I lacked self-boundaries, so then I couldn't even tell other people the boundaries that I had. And so I think, like I was saying to this woman over here, as it relates to the internship that she has, communicating with the people you're working with and restricting those boundaries, because again, no one is gonna tell you, hey Joseph, I think we overworking you, man. I think I think we doing you in. They're never gonna tell you that. The more you show up and get things done, the more I'm gonna keep giving you until you say it. You have to advocate for yourself. Advocate for yourself.
I think for me, when I first got into PR, there were no black, and respectfully, there really isn't anymore, or isn't now. There weren't any black women who were working in the TV and film space that owned their own agency. And I think actually, even to this day, I'm the only one. I wasn't trying to make it a flex, but thank you. And I think that when I first started in, especially when I was really young, I found myself comparing myself and my work to my white counterparts. Most agencies are owned by white men or white women, and most of them are like in their 50s or early 60s. And when you're 24, 25, and you're comparing your work, you've been doing this for 2-3 years, and you're comparing yourself to someone who's been doing it 20 years or 25 years, you're setting yourself up for failure. And I had to really just have an honest conversation with myself and just say, hey, like, if you're going to do this, stop trying to do it the way Kelly Bush does it. Stop trying to do it the way Amanda Silverman does it, the way, Nicole does it. Like, don't get lost in, oh, I need to be like them. The truth of the matter is, like, I'm good enough. My ideas are just as great. And because I get the experience of being a black woman, of being a woman, my perspective is different. And I will call in the clients that are in alignment for me. And I actually found that when I sort of released myself of these ideas of comparing myself to others and comparing my work to others, that's when the blessings started coming in. That's when I was able to get more work. That's when I was able to start changing my rates. And the work was a lot more purposeful and a lot more fulfilling. So I would say, when you can, and it's hard, even now to this day, like I'll see certain campaigns or I'll see certain clients and I'll be like, damn, I wish that was mine. Or like, I wish that I had been able to work on that. Or, when I take a meeting and someone else gets it, I'm like, damn, I really wanted to do that one. But then I very quickly, I'm like, that's cool. Like the next one will be for me because that's how my life's been. But I think when you can release yourself from comparing your work to others, even your girlfriends, or people who are your peers, I think the work is a lot more fulfilling, and what's for you calls itself to you.
One last question. Let's come down here.
Hi, I'm Caitlin.
Hey, Caitlin.
But I was just gonna ask, I know it's very much around like what you surround yourself with and who you surround yourself with. So both y'all, because y'all's perspectives are very different. You were talking about I just love the story. You were talking about make sure y'all hit the list like within you. So who do you surround yourself with to like make sure you have a good team and make sure like even if you're like even if it's an assistant or somebody says, oh, I don't think that's right. Like who's a part of your team to make you?
She should take this one because I let everybody go, child. I can't, like, I'm still looking. I'm not going to lie to you. Me and God and the Holy Spirit, baby. She got a better answer, I'm sure.
I think it starts with like my girlfriends, like my friend group. Most of us work in entertainment. I have like friends from home that I grew up with, and they're like teachers and like social workers, and they don't get it. And I love that because they can talk about their kids and stuff that is so foreign to me at this point that I'm like, I love that for you. But I think when the sort of like day-to-day people that I speak with are people who work in surrounding fields, like one of my closest friends is a producer. Another good friend of mine is an agent, a music agent. And I think having people who can understand the journey that you're on and give you valuable counsel or just sometimes just listen to you, I think is really important. And then I think as it pertains to the team, I haven't always gotten it right. And I've had big teams and small teams. At the biggest, I think I had 30 people employed for me at one time. And, I've also been in phases of my career where it's been just me or just an assistant. I think for me, if I'm looking for something or what sort of is the through line is someone who really loves the job and someone who also just understands that they don't know everything. You don't know everything. I don't know everything. I'm still learning. I still have conversations with Yvette, because Yvette's been doing this for so long, and she's like our godmother basically. But like, I'll have conversations with her, and I'm like, hey, like, I couldn't have anticipated X, Y, and Z happening, and she'll be like, how could you not have seen that coming? And then there's other instances where I might have an assistant or a coordinator or someone who's younger or someone who's, maybe more fresh to the business. And, you have to have a spirit of, I want to learn. I don't know. You have to be willing to ask questions. I don't like to repeat myself. So if I take the time and we sit down and I show you how to do something, if you don't get it, you're probably not a fit for me because you got to be a quick learner in this business. But I think, just trusting my gut. I operate a lot off of my gut. If my spirit says it's a no, it's a no. But I think it starts with like having like a good group of friends that you can rely on. And then, you just kind of have to hope that, look, hiring people in the team, it's a toss-up because you never know because I don't know you, right? Like you're sending me a writing sample, the resume looks good, you came professionally dressed. That's another thing. Before we go, especially, I hate to be harder on the women, but like, I'm sure I'm a walking HR violation. Everybody that works for me is black. And everybody's a woman also. And like, it hurts me, it pains me when I sit on these Zooms or I meet with people in person and they didn't take the time to get their hair done or just slick it back, put a little headband on, like put a little rouge, put a little blush on your cheeks, little rouge, like your clothes should be clean and neat. Like just care. We are in the presentation like we're in the aesthetics business. Like I don't get the opportunity to show up and look half-assed. I don't have the opportunity to show up and not smell good or smell clean or my hair be, like all over the place. Like as black women specifically, we get judged the second we walk in the room, right? Like I'll never forget, we signed Amanda Gorman years ago. And the feedback that her manager was getting from other publicists was, well, Vanessa always has like on bright colors and her nails are always very long and colorful. Oh, she's black. Like she has a personality, right? And it's like, but I recognize that because I'm black, and not to make it about this, but because I am black and because I'm a woman and whatever, I'm being judged the second they see me, the second I get on the Zoom, the second I walk in the classroom, I walk in the room. And the truth of the matter is that is the business that we work in, whether we want to admit it or not, right? And if we are there to represent talent, we have to look our best. And why would I want you on my team? If I took the time out, I got up early, I got dressed for you, right? Well, and you want me, you want me to hire, you want to come and be a part of our team. I expect the same. So when you guys are going out and you're interviewing, even if it's on Zoom, right? Like find another location. If your house is not appropriate, don't do the blurred screen. Go somewhere else. Find just a clean wall. Just find a clean wall and just do it there. Have the lighting right. Ring lights cost $10 on Amazon. Like it is the little things that make the difference, right? Like if you wear your hair in braids, girl, just have her do that front little two rows in the front and just like put it back. Like, I'm not suggesting that you spend hours preparing for things, but show up as your best self. Like, especially if you've done great work, the resume is great, your writing is good, you've prepped yourself. Don't let your presentation of how you look, your aesthetic, how you show up, don't let that stop an opportunity for you. So.
Awesome. I was trying to grab Dean. Can we have a round of applause for Ernest and Vanessa? Amazing. I'm going to bring up our chair, Dr. Ogbo, to make presentations.
Okay, well, have something for you. Once more, thank you for taking our time to be with us today. Comm comes every year, and we will come again and ask, 2027, that you join us. But today we have a token of appreciation for you for being here. This is a certificate of appreciation, and I'm going to read the last part. We express our sincere gratitude for your valuable contributions and active participation. Your efforts have significantly enriched the conference experience for all attendees. So on behalf of School of Communication, we say thank you, and I'm going to come up to give you this.
And shout out to my assistant who's a TSU alum.
Really enjoyed y'all. Thank you, brother. Really enjoyed it.
Let's take a picture.
Yes, sir. I got you.
Right side of that.
I'm doing one first, then the man with the big camera. All right, here we go.
Awesome. Y'all give our guests a hand one more time, please. Are you going to take them for a quick? Yeah, yeah. I think the dean's going to come back again.
By the way,